My daughter told everyone. Dad has dementia. He doesn't know what he's doing. I recorded her. The judge watched the video. Their case died in 5 minutes. Family story. I never thought the day would come when my own daughter would stand in front of people I had known for 30 years and say those words about me. Dad has dementia. He doesn't know what he's doing. She said it like it was a fact, like the sky was blue or the grass was green. She said it at the HOA meeting, at the grocery store, even to the mailman. And every time she said it, she looked so concerned, so heartbroken for her poor father who was losing his mind. My name is Harold. I'm 68. I live in the same two-story colonial on Maple Ridge Drive that my wife Carol and I bought in 1989. The neighborhood hasn't changed much. Same oak trees, same cracked sidewalks, same people who wave when they drive past. Carol passed 3 years ago. Cancer. After that it was just me and the quiet house and the garden she used to love. I kept the roses going. I still mow the lawn every Saturday. I still remember every password, every bill due date, every birthday in the family. I am not losing my mind. But my daughter Lauren decided I was. It started small. She would come over and help me with the mail. Then she started questioning why I still drove. Then she asked if I had remembered to take my blood pressure medicine that morning. I had. I always did. But she would tilt her head and smile, that soft smile people use when they're talking to a child or a confused old man. It's okay, Dad. We all forget things sometimes. I didn't forget things. Not the important ones. The first real warning came on a Tuesday in March. Lauren showed up with her husband Derek and a folder full of papers. They sat me down at the kitchen table like I was about to hear bad news from a doctor. Derek did most of the talking. He has that real estate agent voice, smooth and patient. He said they were worried about me living alone. He said the house was too much for one person. He said maybe it was time to think about selling and moving into one of those assisted living places with the nice dining rooms and the group activities. I told them no. Calmly. Firmly. The house was paid for. I had my pension and Carol's life insurance still sitting in the account. I was fine. Lauren reached across the table and took my hand. Dad, people are starting to notice. Mrs. Ellison from next door said you left the garage door open all night last week. And you mixed up the trash days twice this month. I had left the garage door open once because I was carrying in bags of mulch and the remote was in my pocket. The trash days I had gotten right. The city had changed the schedule and never sent the notice to the old addresses. I explained all of that. They nodded like they were humoring me. That night I sat in the living room with the television off and thought about Carol. She would have seen through this in 2 seconds. She always said Lauren had a soft heart but a hard eye for money. I never wanted to believe it. 2 weeks later the letters started arriving. One from a lawyer I had never met. One from the bank asking me to confirm a power of attorney request. One from the county about a petition for guardianship. Lauren and Derek had filed paperwork claiming I was no longer capable of managing my own affairs. They listed cognitive decline and memory loss and inability to handle finances. They had statements from neighbors who had only heard Lauren's version of events. They even had a note from a doctor I had seen once for a checkup, someone who had never tested my memory at all. I hired my own lawyer. A quiet man named Raymond who had known Carol and me since the kids were little. He looked at the petition and shook his head. They're moving fast, Harold. They want the house and the accounts before you can fight back. I started recording everything. Not because I was paranoid. Because I was careful. I put a small voice recorder in my shirt pocket whenever Lauren came over. I left my phone on the counter recording when she thought I was in the bathroom. Most of the conversations were the same soft concern. We're only trying to help, Dad. You don't have to do this alone. But one afternoon in April she came by herself while Derek was at a closing. She was agitated. The bank had frozen one of the joint accounts she had somehow gotten her name onto years earlier when Carol was sick. She paced the kitchen while I pretended to struggle with the coffee maker. "He's going to fight this," she said into her phone. I was standing 3 feet away. She didn't lower her voice. "Dad still thinks he's sharp. If we don't get the guardianship locked in before the hearing, he'll move the money. Derek says the house is worth almost $900 now. We can't let him sit on it while he slowly loses it. Just stick to the dementia story. Everyone already believes it. Once the judge sees how confused he acts in court, we're done." I kept my face blank. I poured the coffee. I even spilled a little on purpose and let her wipe it up while she kept talking. When she left, I played the recording back 3 times. Clear as a bell. Her voice. The words. The plan. Raymond almost smiled when I brought it to him. "That's the whole case right there," he said. "If the judge hears this, their petition is finished." The hearing was set for Tuesday in May at the county courthouse. Small room. Wood paneling. The kind of place where people's lives get rearranged with a gavel. Lauren and Derek sat on one side with their attorney, a woman in a sharp gray suit who kept glancing at me like I might wander off. I sat with Raymond. I wore the same blue jacket Carol used to like. I had showered. I had eaten breakfast. I knew exactly what day it was and who was sitting across from me. Their attorney went first. She talked about my increasing confusion. She read statements from neighbors who had been told I forgot their names. She mentioned the garage door and the trash cans. She painted a picture of a lonely old man slipping away, and of a devoted daughter just trying to keep him safe. Lauren wiped her eyes at the right moments. Derek put a hand on her shoulder. Then Raymond stood up. He didn't make a big speech. He simply asked the judge for permission to play a short recording. The other side objected. The judge allowed it. I watched Lauren's face when her own voice filled the quiet courtroom. "He's going to fight this. Dad still thinks he's sharp. If we don't get the guardianship locked in before the hearing, he'll move the money. Derek says the house is worth almost $900 now. We can't let him sit on it while he slowly loses it. Just stick to the dementia story. Everyone already believes it. Once the judge sees how confused he acts in court, we're done." The silence afterward was thick. Lauren's attorney started to speak and then stopped. Derek stared at the table. Lauren looked at me for the first time that morning like she was seeing someone she hadn't planned for. The judge leaned forward. She asked a few questions. She asked me the date. She asked me the name of the current president. She asked me how much I paid in property taxes last year. I answered every one. Clear. Steady. No hesitation. Then she looked at Lauren and Derek and their attorney. "This petition is denied. And I am referring the matter of this recording to the district attorney's office for review." 5 minutes. That was all it took after the video played. The whole case they had built on careful lies and concerned faces collapsed in the time it takes to pour a cup of coffee. I walked out of the courthouse into the bright May sunlight. Raymond clapped me once on the shoulder and went to his car. I stood on the steps for a minute and watched Lauren and Derek argue near the parking lot. She was crying for real this time. He looked angry and small. I drove home the long way, past the high school where Lauren used to play softball, past the church where Carol and I were married, past the little park where we used to push the kids on the swings. The house was quiet when I got back. The roses needed watering. I changed into an old shirt and went outside with the hose. That evening the phone rang. It was Lauren. Her voice was tight. She started to say she was sorry, and then she started to explain, and then she started to cry again. I listened for a while. When she finished, I told her I needed time. I hung up gently. I sat on the back porch with a glass of water and watched the sky turn pink over the roofs of Maple Ridge Drive. The same street. The same trees. The same life that had been mine long before anyone decided I was too far gone to keep it. I am still here. I still know exactly what I am doing. And now everyone else does too.